it took a little while, and to the point where now it's just like, they just keep coming.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. Listen, we believe every agent should make a minimum of $100,000 per year, and we're on a mission to make this happen. We've already helped over 100 agents achieve this with our coaching. So if you want to fast track your business growth, get to your first $100,000 in GCI, or add another $100,000 in GCI using social strategies, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com, or you can just click the link in the description below. Also, just make sure to follow us, hit that subscribe button, and if you get any value from this at all, please tell a friend and leave us a review. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Speaking about, obviously, houses, I want to dive into, I know what a lot of people are going to be sat on the edge of their seat for, which is how you, Brett, are getting so many goddamn listings. This is like, for what, 2 years, maybe a bit over 2.5 years almost. This has been huge. Like, this has basically been it. Like, everyone's
are you primary listing as well?
So now that's mostly all I do. I mean, I do take buyers, but I prefer to like give them to people.
So 2 years, you went from zero, not a single transaction, to heavy on the listing.
Like 3 years total of 3 years.
3 years. Wow.
So, I mean, how are you getting them then, Brett? Tell us your secret sauce. Tell us how to get listings.
It goes back to the same thing. Yeah. So like I start small with the small ones, and a lot of those small ones were like investors who said, "Oh, we have 3 more." Right now, I'm working with an investor who I think was one of my first listings. He's given me now like 7, and he's got 15 more. So that's part of it. And then doing the transactions with those smaller ones, they end up, I mean, some of them have even already upgraded and moved. Some of them have, so they've given me the listing. Some have friends that want to sell their house. So that's one way. And then because I got so many sales, these referral companies are all coming to me and giving me seller leads, and I'm paying them, on the back end, but there's just so many that I'm getting a ton of listings from them. And I don't know, I kind of feel in some ways that some realtors are just entitled. And while we don't want to lose that 25%, like to me, if I can get 4 listings at 25% less versus like ruining a week of my life making phone calls or something like that, it's worth it.
What websites would you recommend have given you like the best ones, would you say? So people listening, if they want to try some, what would you recommend?
Like HomeLight's probably the best one. To me, I've gotten some from Redfin, OpCity. What else? I mean, there's a whole bunch of there's like some smaller ones that have just given me but the key with those is I think when they see that you're very active in listing, they shoot more to you than they would to somebody else.
So a long time ago, no names to be mentioned, Peter and me, not so much, had some involvement with the whole percentage model, let's call it. And the biggest discovery of the percentage model is this. For everyone listening, it is very, very simple. If you do the deals and you actually produce for the people giving you the leads, you will basically become a premium partner of them, and they will just keep giving you the best ones. This is how they work. Because a lot of people join, and because it's free to get leads, they'll do fuck all with it, because then they're like, it's 25%, I'm not bothered, and they put it on a back burner. And that's why some people join these, they then get a few leads, they say they're all rubbish and they don't get a deal out, and then they stop getting them. When other people persist, they get a deal out of them, and then Redfin will go, oh shit, they actually got a deal, we got 25%, let's give him a couple more good leads. And then you do it again, and then they go, right, this guy's good, like he's continuing to work and close these, and then they just keep giving you more and better ones as well. And like, you might not want to admit it, but if you've tried these companies and you aren't getting the results, categorically, from what we have seen and experienced, it's because you haven't actually worked the leads to the point where you got deals. And therefore the company, that you've got to understand, for everyone listening, they're paying for those leads. Those leads aren't free to them. They are paying for those leads to come and to give them to you, right? So they have to get an ROI. And this is what a lot of people miss. It's like they don't just magically sprout out the sky. Like these leads are just falling. They're like free to give away to everyone. It's like, no, they're paying aggregators. Like we know some of them and they might pay, I don't know, $3-5 a lead, right? But they'll buy them in huge bulks. They'll give a company 50 grand a month to generate them leads, and then they basically dish them out. And that's kind of how their model works. But like, this is why they're huge venture-backed companies. And how much has OpCity been invested? I'm not sure if it's hundreds of millions, but it's definitely tens of millions. And it's had put into it before it got absorbed by Realtor.com. Like, they're real businesses. I think a lot of people really lack that understanding of how their model works, because if you're getting amazing deals from them, it's because you've done a good job and you've continued to get better and better leads because you continue to do a good job. So it's in their best interest to keep giving you better leads, because a lot of people sign up for these services and do fuck all. And that is like the bane of their life, right? Because it's like, we're just wasting money on these people, and that's the problem. And then we go back to the 9 out of 10 people fail. So like, you can understand how that model is hard as well. So what I wanted to do, actually, just I went off on a little bit of a tangent.
I was going to say, before you go on, one of the things that I have a question on before I ask my question, 100% of zero is still zero. So if you're giving up 25%, you're still way ahead, because you otherwise wouldn't have had that business. Second part of that is, if you're getting or you are working these leads from some of these sources, Brad, what is your action plan when those leads come to you, when you claim them? Like, what do you do to convert them? Do you call them one time? What does that process look like? Because I feel that a lot of people that are probably listening, they have no fucking idea how to work internet leads, point blank. Second of all, they think that the phone weighs 1 million pounds, which it does not. This is how we get paid, everybody. So what are you doing? Or do you have things automated? Do you have a CRM you put them in? Do you have something fancy? Or you just, low tech, high check, you pick up the phone, you get in front of them and you close them?
So some of them are like direct connections where they actually put the client right on the phone, so you have to talk to them right then and there, which actually works the best, I think, anyway. So for those, we take the call and they either will set an appointment with me right then and there. I'd say most of those do, I think. And then they also immediately go into my CRM. So they're going to get like a follow-up email or text or call. And then if they don't respond, like, they're going to get another. So they're kind of like being poked at for a little while. If they don't meet me, if they meet me, then it's a little different. And then the ones that aren't direct connections, I just immediately contact, whether it's a phone call, a text. I just right away call them. So, because if you don't, they're going to go to somebody else, or somebody else. Some of these companies give the same lead to 2 different people, 3 different people. So you got to kind of be quick with them.
Which makes sense from their standpoint. They've got to hedge their bets, right? So it's like, we'll give them to 3 decent people. And from the investor standpoint, I know you said, hey, they've got like 1 deal, then 5 deals, 7 deals, 15 more houses. How did you get those original listings with some of these investors who've now managed to supply you with more and more? Because that in and of itself is one of the things that I think our listeners want to know. Like, how did that original connection come about so you got those listings?
I think so. I think it came on the buyer end. I might have done a couple Zillow leads, or somehow I got like investors calling me to buy land, even like little plots of land or just bad houses. And then once I closed them, they either used me for more, or just, I think other investors saw that I was the selling agent and then reached out to me directly. It did take like the first, I'd say 8 months. It took a little while, and to the point where now it's just like, they just keep coming.
And there is a stigma around working with investors in real estate. Some are lovers and some are haters, right? They're like, it's dog shit, hate it. And some, like, we know a bunch of people we've had on the show, similarly to you, who actually, the reason they have grown so fast is they've got like a really good, close-knit group of investors they now work with, and they are just selling like crazy, like you, where it's like, shit, I now can't keep up because I've tapped into this source. But there is some intricacies to investors. So Any tips, tricks on like working with investors, some of the good things, bad things about them for listeners? Because I also think some of the things that people get told about them are not true. And, you know, this is a business. It's a fucking imperfect world, but it's the only one we've got. So,
I mean, so in my opinion, most of them aren't loyal. So they're just looking for a house. So if you're not the realtor of that particular house, they might go to the other. So I guess my tip would be just to get a lot of different investors and don't get mad if they go somewhere else, because they're going to just basically find the house. And if the only way to get it is through another realtor or another investor, they're going to do it without you. But if they like you, they're still going to come back to you for others, and just,
start building that relationship.
And don't waste time with them. Yeah. There's like investors that'll call you just looking for comps so that they don't have to do the research, and then they'll so you kind of have to feel them out.
So basically what you're saying is not only feel them out, just be okay with them using other realtors, and don't get so emotionally attached or offended if they're using another guy, because at the end of the day, they're running a business. So they're not looking like, oh my God, Brett couldn't get me a deal, so I'm just going to sit here on the sidelines. Nah, they're like, cool, let me call Jimmy, Joey, Mikey, or Lori down the street, because she may have something that I'm looking for.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in gaining access to our course and coaching programs, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.